Have I looked at solar panels? NASA looked at solar panels. NASA had a lot of money. I just don't have the money for, like satellite-grade solar panels. And it has been done. You can get model airplanes up in the air. NASA has a couple flying wings that they've set Guinness Book of World Records with. These things would just go up, and somehow they would kind of fly around and recharge batteries, and they would just fly with batteries at night. And they kept them up for days at a time. I think I looked at that in like high school. Like I shammed some high school project, by gluing some solar cells that I found in like a discount hobby place, and I told them it worked. It really doesn't. You need a lot more energy to keep this plane airborne than solar cells will provide at the moment. Yes, sir.
So for your kit, what you've got there, how much did you end up paying?
Okay, so this setup right here, the plane itself is about $60. The engine upgrade is about $50. The FMA Copilot stabilization system was about $50 to $80. The video transmitter's $50. Extra antennas, probably looking about $40. ArduPilot, the shield, miscellaneous servo cables, the batteries, the speed controller, you're probably looking at about another $200. So this plane right here represents about $400, $450. So that's the ground station, though, is kind of where you spend your real money, because you need a 7-channel radio or higher to have enough channels to really operate this, and it needs to be programmable. So that's going to really run you a lot of money. You're probably looking at like $500 just for this stinking video transmitter. And when you pop it open, because you're curious and you want to see what you paid for it, you're really like, man, are these guys serious? Like, I could have put this together for $100. But you're probably looking at slapping down initial startup costs, I want to say about $1,000. And then after that, you're looking at maybe $500 per system. So this stuff is very inexpensive, especially if you can get a university to kind of fund your research or something. Yes, little guy over here. Nobody spotted or reported me yesterday. Not that I've heard of. There's no Marriott representative in the hotel, or in the room right now, is there? Because would you like to fly again before the end of the conference?
Yes.
Okay. We'll set something up. If the snow, it all depends on wind conditions. I kind of got paranoid because I lost a whole bunch of models. I'd take them up, as soon as I get it put together, I'd run outside, and we're in the Hudson River Valley up there in West Point, so like there's like 60-mile-an-hour winds like all day long. I swear they put this place in like the coldest part of the East Coast they could find. And so I'll put the model up there, and it immediately go like whoosh, and it's like exit scene left, and I'm like, oh man, are you serious? Like, where'd this thing go? It's like floating down the river. So if the wind conditions are right, I will definitely take it out. We'll put it up again, and hopefully we'll get a better RF link. And I can demo that. Maybe we can work something out where we can stream that video feed. But if you guys would like to come out, just ask me later. We'll set a time up. Yes, sir?
Is that ground control system you mentioned getting real-time data from the plane so you can see how much battery life is left? And
Good question. So the ground control system, I didn't put a slide up on the ground control system because, well, honestly, I haven't really gotten it working yet. But I like to look at just the serial feed live, and when the plane's up there and it's doing its thing, you really can take your time and just look at your laptop and look at the numbers. But Jordi Munoz, the 25-year-old guy that put together this $25 autopilot system, he actually built an entire setup in LabVIEW with dials and everything as if it's an airplane system. And so it shows you your orientation, airspeed, current battery level, and everything. And that's actually really cool to look at. I just haven't gotten it working because I was messing with it and I broke it. So, but the autopilot system, the ground station is pretty awesome. The picture you saw earlier was the config tool, and that's what you use to upload via umbilical cord the waypoints. So let me just finish up my last 2 slides here. ArduPilot Mega. So the community recognized that there was a fundamental deficiency with ArduPilot, and that was that there was only a single serial line in and out of this microcontroller. Because of that, and because the GPS uses that serial line, we can't pass updated waypoints or coordinates or instructions to the plane using those XBs. So the XBs kind of act as a one-way link right now, which is really unfortunate because, I mean, think of what we could do if we could, change the setup while it's up in the air. I mean, that'd be awesome. That really would be the next step. So they're coming up with an entire new board. It's going to be called ArduPilot Mega, based on the Arduino Mega. Essentially, they just pin out everything in a better order, and I believe there's going to be another microcontroller on board similar to this one, like an Attiny, and that's going to provide fail-safe operation. But with that extra serial line, or serial lines, because I think it's going to have 4, you'll be able to pass instructions to it, and it's going to have more bells and whistles. So that's the path the community is currently going in. Something I want to do personally is take an iTouch or something similar like that, build a graphical user interface or whatever that I can manipulate, similar to the config tool, so I can pan Google Maps around, drop waypoints live, and have that sent up to the UAV. So I can literally just walk around, it'll follow me, I can change its waypoint path and everything, and if I want to see what's over that hill, I just kind of flip a button and look around using my video goggles. I'm a total badass, So that'll look awesome. And easier configuration. They're really kind of working on stepping the code down right now because they have a configuration file that you change parameters, and it's very well commented, and that's all you really need to do. You don't have to touch any source. But it's still a little complicated. So there's a couple guys in the community that want to put a video out there that's kind of oriented toward the high school crowd and how they can make this. Because if you can teach a high schooler to do this, then maybe someday I can teach my mom how to do it, and that'd be cool. So, yes, sir.
What are you doing at West Point, man?
Yeah, about that. I got some things. I got some things to say to the Air Force guys, the Academy guys. Nothing against the services, but the Academy rivalry is pretty intense. So really quick, I just want to hit on some legal issues. The way we fly these legally is under the FAA model airplane regulations. The AMA, the Academy of Model Aeronautics, I think that's right. They publish safety rules and everything that generally you should try to follow by, but I'll just summarize for everybody's benefit here because you're never actually going to go out and look up legal issues for this. To be legal, technically, you have to fly under 400 feet within line of sight and have the ability to take control of the plane for safety purposes. 400 feet up. Now, you can take it out as far as you can see it, and let's be honest here. This plane will go up as high as you want, and with a video setup, you don't even have to see it anymore. So as long as you have a solid RF link and you can take safe control of it and bring it back to you manually, which means that you have to have some proficiency flying a model airplane, then in my book, you're good. So just, that's how I roll. Fortunately, there's no FAA guys out there. Are there? If there are,
Same guy who thinks the tree is a landing mechanism.
It works, okay? It works. The plane is right here. This plane literally ran into a tree yesterday, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? So it's not flying right now. We'll fly it later, I promise. But another thing with RF issues, I really encourage you guys to go out and get your ham radio license because with that opens up all kinds of band privileges, and you really get all the knowledge necessary to work some of these more advanced systems. You can pair and match antennas better if you have this education. It only costs like $14 or $12 to go get your license, and when you sit, you can test up as many classes as you like. So that's a great community. They provide a lot of support to me because I still don't know how to pick antennas. I just find some old guy who, oh yeah, this antenna here, this here, that's what you want. And finally, legal issues. Like I said, it's not stalking if it's love, guys. So questions, let's break it out. Yes, you speak up.
Any work being done on the observation side of it, or are you just doing it with the airframe?
So I like to do everything from soup to nuts. Okay, so he was asking if anything's being done on the observation side, or what was the rest of it?
Basically, could you say if you follow that bird, or
Oh, okay. I don't. So a problem with this airframe is that it has a limited capability to carry weight, which means that our processing power is very low. We're just using Atmega microcontrollers here. So we don't have onboard capability to do image processing and follow targets natively. That would be a really cool thing if somebody could do that on a gum stick and kind of throw it in there. You could stick a smartphone on it. I've seen that done in the community. If you want to write that yourself and give it to me, that'd be awesome. Maybe I can come back next year. So, yes.
Hey, since, if I remember correctly, West Point's a non-fly zone for non-military aircraft, so how does that affect your model airplane flying?
Okay, so here's how I do it at West Point, because I'm not allowed to. Where you saw me flying, I'm really not supposed to be. I kind of look around. Are there any officers? We step out, and then step back in. That's how you do it. In the back.
You configure that it uses good RF signals as automatic systems to return to launch?
Can you configure it to, if it loses an RF signal, to automatically go back to RTL? In certain versions of the code, that's actually default behavior, and you could definitely code it that way. Essentially, with the current software version, I believe how it works is it's just going to fly its route independently of the RF signal. But if it loses the command from your transmitter that's telling it to stay in autopilot mode, then it'll flip out. And not like flip out, like, go all berserk, but it'll come out of that mode and it'll go back to RTL and just kind of it just kind of orbits overhead in like some random fashion because it's trying to hit your GPS coordinate. But it will come back to you. Or it should. It should. Any other questions? In the back.
Yeah, I've got a request for those playing at home. You fly again. If somehow we can patch it into the Scoop on site.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we should figure that out. That'd be.
And I don't know if you saw the iPhone patch this morning, but if you could tie that into, following people on their iPhone.
Oh, hey guys, one other thing I forgot to mention. Some of the other payloads that you can throw on here that we actually have are a Bluetooth sniffing payload, or maybe it's a Bluetooth pushing payload. Major Terrence O'Connor, he's coming up to talk in 2 hours. He actually wrote that for me. We just kind of threw it on here. So we could you're walking around with your little Bluetooth thing in your ear and suddenly you hear something different. Yeah, we did that. And war driving, there's been examples of war driving done before, but now you can do it with an autonomous aircraft, so that's kind of cool. And we're working on figuring out the RF to actually do consistent 802.11 sniffing from the air. So now you don't even have to get off your ass to, go figure out what those guys are doing, a couple blocks over. You can just send the plane up and it'll orbit overhead, and you can check out what he's watching on YouTube. If he's, yes.
Are there helicopter-based airframes that can handle the kind of payloads that you're...
Helicopter-based airframes. Helicopters are very difficult because of their inherent instability and also all the forces that are being imparted on it. They have a lot of vibration that really messes with the sensors. There are a lot of attempts out there, especially with the UAV dev board, throwing that on helicopters. I haven't seen amazing success with it, but I mean, they can get a helicopter to kind of hover and everything, but it doesn't work so well outdoors when you have wind. As you saw, my airplane was pitching around and it has great stabilization. I don't think you can take a helicopter out there, ask it to fly around a couple miles and come back in one piece. It'll probably find its way to the ground.
About the helicopters, I don't know if anybody is doing this work, but I've dealt with a lot of helicopter stuff. They're temperamental, they're hard to fly, getting the balance is difficult, and they're really expensive. So it's not a platform I would want to pursue unless I had a big background.
So there you go. Helicopters are not a good idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. If anybody what? I hope you all enjoyed the talk, and we will see if we can hook something up and fly the plane later today or tomorrow. So stay tuned.